seem to go, that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Hey, paradise, put up a parking lot. Don't it always seem to go, that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Hey, paradise, put up a parking lot. They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. They pay paradise and put up a parking lot.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow. Welcome. Believe it or not, I said I would like, there's one song I wanted to play at this service, and that was it. And it turned out they were actually doing it. So, yay. Welcome to First Parish in Needham, a Unitarian Universalist congregation. You are welcome here no matter how or if you envision a higher power, who you love, what your background or identity is, your age or ability, or whether you're here in person or online. I'm Claire Galkowski. My pronouns are she, her. My husband Jan and I have called First Parish Needham our home since 2016. Singing in the choir with Laura and Chris is a delightful experience for me. If you like to sing, you should check it out. Men and women both. And I love helping my fellow waste warriors, Muriel, Leslie, and Meyer, with coffee hour cleanup. But the thing that really floats my boat is the Green Congregation Committee, steadfastly led by my friend Eleanor Rossellini. Yay! You may recall the joyful Sunday service our committee led last September, which celebrated solar power here in Needham and across the globe. We also led First Parish in advocating to stop private jet expansion at Hanscom, and we're promoting large-scale solar projects in Needham. In the building, we replaced our paper napkins with cloth ones this year, and we updated the protocol for hosting low-waste food events. And our members take turns composting the social hour organics. If this sounds like your idea of a good time, please join us at our next Zoom meeting on May 13th at 7:30 p.m. You can look for it in the bell notes. Today, we celebrate Earth Day by honoring the circular economy. That is, keeping materials in use for as long as possible. The United States economy is mostly linear. Take, make, use, and throw away. Most of what we own was extracted from our little planet, heated, treated with chemicals, shaped, dyed, coated, mixed, attached, labeled, packaged, and shipped to retailers. Between each step, our stuff is hauled by ships, trains, planes, and trucks, often for thousands of miles. We buy it, use it once or a few times, then have it hauled away to be buried or burned. Every step pollutes our planet. Even recycling, which is certainly gentler than disposal, is an industrial process. It's not how Mother Nature does things, and it's not sustainable. In nature, one creature's discards are another's resources. The circular economy is more natural. Today, we're showcasing how we can help sustain our little blue boat home with our clothing choices. A trend called fast fashion is speeding up the churn of clothes that are designed to survive about 5 machine washings. Underpaid and underage laborers on the other side of the globe often put these disposable clothes together. Some of our fellow congregants will be demonstrating how they do circular economy for apparel later in the service. It's going to be fun. Green Congregation will also have a table at social hour with a display and resources of how you can find and keep your attire in use. Please stop by. You can learn more about all that's happening at First Parish by going to our website, uuneedham.org, signing up for our weekly email newsletter, or by following us on social media. Our order of service is online at the QR code in your pews and at the website uuneedham.updates.church. This saves a few twigs, maybe a few branches, by not having to print everything. Please speak with our ushers, greeters, and Zoom hosts if you have questions or accessibility needs. Welcome again to everyone here in the building and online. We are so glad you're here.
As we light our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, we read words from Euro-American UU minister, Reverend Dr. Julia Corbett-Haymeyer.
We light this flame, the bright warmth of belonging, of companionship, of interdependence.
We light this flame to remind us we belong to the earth, our sacred home.
We light this flame to remind us we belong to human families, biological or chosen, and to the entire human family.
We light this flame to celebrate this community here gathered, to which we belong, which claims our loyalty and affection.
We light this flame to call to mind the transcendent, the holy, known by many names and by none, to which we also belong, which holds and sustains us.
We light this flame in affirmation of the responsibility we share to make our communities ones where all belong. Our opening hymn, Blue Boat Home, has a traditional hymn tune with modern lyrics from Euro-American singer-songwriter Peter Mayer. From home and from here in the building, please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing Blue Boat Home. The lyrics are in your orders of service on screen and at number 1064 in your teal hymnals.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ride the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here in my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, the making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hear the great winds urging me on, read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
At First Parish, we covenant to live out our shared values of the inherent worth and dignity of every person and thing, living thing, respecting our only home, the earth, and co-creating beloved community. Whether we participate in our community online or in the building, we strive to live these promises every day. Please say along with me the words of our parish covenant as in your orders of service. We gather as a loving community to encourage and comfort one another. We gather as a diverse community to support each other in our search for spiritual truth. We gather as a service community to live our beliefs through action and care for our world.
Our story this morning is Rosie and the Pre-Loved Dress, written by Leanne Hatch. One afternoon, Rosie went with her mother to drop off donations at the local thrift shop. As Rosie rummaged through the racks of gently worn, pre-loved clothing, something caught her eye. Nestled between a fuzzy wool sweater and a faded flannel shirt was a dress. But not just any dress, one that sparkled and shined. It was magical. It would soon belong to Rosie. Rosie could not wait to try on the new-to-her dress. When she unbuttoned the back, she discovered a name handwritten on the inside label. Mila. Who was Mila? Wondered Rosie. Who was the girl who wore the dress before her? She imagined meeting Mila. What would they laugh about together? Did Mila also like tortilla chips in her tuna sandwich? Did she also like purple nail polish and mismatched socks? Did she too like skateboarding and origami? Rosie wore the dress every day until the day the dress fit more like a top. No matter how much she pulled it down, and the sequin trim was scratchy in ways it had never been before, until the day Rosie outgrew the dress. She tried it over pants. She tried it as room decor, as modern art. She tried it on her giant stuffed giraffe, before finally deciding that it was someone else's turn to love the dress just as much as she did. Rosie got out a permanent marker, then carefully wrote her name on the label next to Mila's. She thought about the memories she had made while wearing the dress. She thought about how Mila also had her own memories. Even though Rosie was sad to let it go, she knew that her favorite dress had many more memories to make. So Rosie and her mother returned to the thrift store to make a very special donation. Before leaving, Rosie searched the racks once again, only to discover the most magical, pre-loved purse. Now look carefully, and you can see the new child buying a pre-loved dress. Many of us are wearing pre-loved clothing today. Have you ever thought about who loved your clothes before you did? Or if that makes you a little squeamish, who will love those clothes next?
Thank you so much, John. I invite you all now to join me in the spiritual practice of meditation, breathing deeply in and then out, closing your eyes or letting your gaze soften, and finding a place of stillness in your body and your spirit. As you hear these words from Euro-American UU Minister of Religious Education, Reverend Kimberly Ann Tomczyk Carlson. Majestic tree with strong roots, Feel the gravity of the earth holding you in place. Wiggle your toes as if they were roots. Roots connect you to the earth, lending you strength. Gently sway in the wind, turning your body like the trunk of a tree, leaning this way and that, bending as the air pushes and pulls. What surrounds you may sway you, make you bend, maybe feel unbalanced. But wiggle your toes. Know that your roots can hold you as you grow and learn. A tree is nourished by the soil and by water, and you are nourished by food the earth grows and water it provides. You are cared for and loved by many people. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Still yourself. Wiggle your toes and know that your roots are strong. May we be blessed with the strength and the flexibility of the trees. Amen. Please remain seated and join in singing our meditative response, The Lone Wild Bird. The lyrics are in your orders of service on screen and at number 15 in your gray hymnals.
The lone wild bird in lofty flight is still with thee, nor leaves thy sight. And I am thine, I rest in thee. Great Spirit, come and rest in me. The ends of the earth are in thy hand, the seas dark, deep, and far off land. And I am thine, I rest in thee. Great Spirit, come and rest in me.
This congregation has been supported by the volunteered time and treasure of its members and friends since its founding in 1711. This is the time in our service when we, the modern stewards of the church, offer what we can to build and sustain the congregation and the world we envision. For the month of April, we've been sharing our collection 50-50 with the Needham Community Farm. The Needham Community Farm is a nonprofit right here in town that educates people about sustainable growing, helps volunteers get back in touch with the earth and with one another, and supplies fresh seasonal produce to the Needham Community Council Food Pantry and Needham Housing Authority sites. To donate to today's offering, you can use one of 3 different methods as described in detail in your orders of service. You can use our text-to-give program, donate through the website uuneedham.org, or drop a check or cash into the collection plate, or mail a check to First Parish. Whichever way you donate, please remember to specify whether it's meant for the plate collection this morning or for your annual pledge. And if this is one of your first visits to First Parish, we encourage you to fill out a yellow card in your pew back to drop in the collection plate or fill out our online visitors form at uuneedham.updates.church so we know how to get in touch. And many thanks to our member Lynn Jakowski for today's beautiful flowers, celebrating hers and Elliot's son Sam and his family on the milestone of buying their first home. Thank you for everything you are able to give to help support and sustain this congregation and the vital work of our community partners. May the ushers please come forward. Thank you all so much. Have any of you ever eaten a Necco wafer? Do you guys know? Yeah. It's these guys. Oh, I brought them. Ooh, they come in a tube. They're always sold as a roll, as far as I'm aware, of lemon, lime, orange, clove, cinnamon, mint, licorice, and chocolate wafers. For those of you who've experienced these and the Catholic Eucharist before, it's sort of like a sweet version of those. Delicious, great. Okay. Necco stands for the New England Confectionery Company, which produced this candy from 1847 to 2018 right here in Massachusetts. Originally, they were called hub wafers because, as we all know, Boston is the hub of the universe. Of course. Since my introduction to Necco wafers a couple decades ago, I've always associated them with New England. And after Necco filed for bankruptcy in 2018, I mourned that they were gone for good. Little did I know that they were acquired by an Ohio-based candy company. Something's happening. Oh, it's okay. People online are like, what? It's not mic'd, it's fine. Little did I know that they had been acquired by an Ohio-based candy company and went back into production in 2020. How could I have missed that? Was anything else happening? I don't know. So this winter, when I was picking up family dinner in a local ski town, and I saw for the first time in years a Necco wafer roll in the checkout line, I bought it immediately. I even opened the roll in the car ride home before I could have even offered them to my family, who were not interested. I nostalgically munched on a few of these weird little wafers while I was driving, and then once I arrived back at the house, I made the terrible mistake of actually reading the ingredients, where I encountered an old foe. Not sugar, corn syrup, or colorings and flavorings, that's fine, whatever. But gelatin, which is not vegetarian. First, gelatin took marshmallows from me, and now Necco wafers. In short, despite my best intentions and 20 years of experience as a vegetarian, I had accidentally consumed an animal product. One of the most famous passages from Euro-American Unitarian transcendentalist, naturalist, and writer Henry David Thoreau, his famous book Walden, comes from its second chapter, explaining why Thoreau had chosen to live for 2 years in a small cabin next to Walden Pond in nearby Concord, Massachusetts. In Where I Lived and What I Lived For, Thoreau explained, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it were quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck all the marrow out of life, not something I do, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life." He continued, "Our life is frittered away by detail. In the midst of this chopping sea of civilized life, such are the clouds and storms and quicksands and 1,001 items to be allowed for, that a man has to live if he would not flounder and go to the bottom and not make his port at all. Simplify. Simplify. Why should we live with such hurry and waste of life? We are determined to be starved before we are hungry." Thoreau concluded, we are enabled to apprehend at all what is sublime and noble only by the perpetual instilling and drenching of the reality that surrounds us. Let us spend one day as deliberately as nature and not be thrown off track by every nutshell and mosquito's wing that falls on the rails. For this morning, there are at least 2 lessons to be drawn out of Thoreau's pursuit of living deliberately, or we could say living intentionally. First, to slow down enough to see what life has to teach us and intentionally following its lessons. Why live with such hurry? We can only comprehend life's lessons if we are attentive to the reality that surrounds us, undistracted by the quicksands and details of civilized life. We can only live deliberately if we pause long enough to reconnect with our values and ourselves now and again, to evaluate whether how we act and who or what we prioritize is how we've intended to behave, and what or who we know is most important to us. Which of our shared Unitarian Universalist values do you strive to live out deliberately? Justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, and the love at the center of it all? Who in your life makes living so dear to you? And how do you intentionally offer them your attention and your gratitude? And a second lesson from Thoreau: to not be thrown off track by every nutshell and mosquito's wing that falls on the rails. Thoreau had a lot of firsthand experience with literal rails, as his Walden cabin was a very short distance, if you visited, a very short distance from what is now the Fitchburg commuter rail line. I imagine Thoreau was thinking about detritus from mosquitoes and squirrels as a metaphor for all we can't control and how we ought to stick to our values all the same. Good advice, yes. And I would add that sometimes the nutshell that trips us off track was thrown there by our own messy selves or our own mistakes, missing of the mark. Those bumps ought not to derail us either. For me, leaving meat out of my regular diet is both a spiritual and environmental commitment. As a Unitarian Universalist, my spiritual values are deeply tied to my justice commitments, which I imagine is no surprise to most of you. With these Necco wafers, I felt disappointed in myself for having failed, and not for the first time, for having failed to double-check an ingredient list as to avoid purchasing and eating something that contains meat. Have you disappointed yourself before like this? Broken a promise that you made to yourself or to others in a small way or a big way? Do you have a practice for accepting such imperfection, offering apology, and beginning again? Because what we choose matters. How we choose to live impacts our own spirits and the lives of our loved ones and the lives of all beings with whom we share our beautiful earth. As Euro-American Quaker writer and environmentalist Jean Lohman wrote, "Vine and branch, we are connected in this world of sound and echo, figure and shadow, the leaves contingent, roots pushing against the earth. An apple belongs to itself, to stem and tree, to air that claims it, then ground. Connections balance, each motion changes another. Precarious hanging together, we don't know what our lives support, and we touch in the least shift of breathing. Each holy thing is borrowed. Everything depends." So at First Parish, we support and encourage one another to think, act, and reflect on how we live our beliefs through action and care for our world. Not everyone's bodies can safely sustain a meat-free diet, as much as I have to buy all of my shoes new and very particular to my high arches and bilateral bunions. But we each have a part to play in our interconnected world, something we each can do, can commit to. And so may we each and all hold fast to our values and intentions. May we be thoughtful, lifelong learners, undeterred by mistakes, obstacles, or even new understandings. And may our actions support the thriving of our precarious and wholly interdependent web of all existence. Amen. Please join me now in a responsive reading from Choctaw retired Episcopal Bishop Reverend Stephen Charleston. I'll read the plain type and you'll respond with John with the italicized type. Should be in your orders of service. The earth is holy. She is our sacred mother.
All cultures, all people can learn to live in harmony with the cycles of life.
It is simply a matter of practicing what we preach. Let us determine to do so.
Our mother needs us, calls to us. Let every child rise up now for what must be done to save her.
So if our models would please gather in the entryway at the back of the church. Now this is what we've all been waiting for. As we celebrate Earth Day and focus on the circular economy, we're hoping that that will be able to inspire each other and share information and tips about extending the life of clothing. So I hope you enjoy all the wonderful pieces of clothing that people have, talking about what it means to them. And afterwards, visit us at the Green Congregation table. Okay, Chris? Okay, beginning our fashion show are Cece and George. Cece is a fan of upcycling. She is wearing an upcycled, handmade, patchwork, thermal tunic dress made by Linda Klassen Art, purchased on Etsy. She is also sporting an upcycled knitted scarf that was purchased at the Needham High School craft fair. It was made from the vendor's grandmother's hand-knitted scarves, and the vendor thought of this idea to share her grandmother's talent with others and added a vintage pin to give it some bling. Cece is also carrying an upcycled bag made from a vintage tablecloth. Cece is followed by George. George, at heart, a minimalist and persistent in holding on to wardrobe favorites. George is sporting a 20-year-old beanie. Oh, damaged by our dearly departed dog, Baxi. Oh, here it is. There we go. And revived by Cece with felt embroidery. His 15-year-old shirt is mended using Japanese sashiko embroidery, and his blue jeans are also patched using Boro embroidery. I hope you're impressed. Thank you. Next in line is Jane. Jane is wearing a reversible jacket gifted to her by Eileen, her dear friend of more than 50 years. Eileen received the jacket from her aunt's family upon Aunt Carola's passing at age 103. As clothing carries history, Jane feels honored to wear Aunt Carola's jacket. Dr. Carola Eisenberg was a founding member of Physicians for Human Rights and among the honorees for the 1997 Nobel Peace Prize. Beautiful, thank you. Next is Marianne. Old clothes are a wonderful way to remember loved ones. Marianne taps into her mother's sense of style when she wears her clothes, such as this knitted jacket. She also is wearing a beret that belonged to her mom and is using one of her handbags. The pants remind her of a trip to the outlets with her daughter before the pandemic. Thank you. Darlene. You don't need to leave Needham in order to find a great bargain. Darlene's entire outfit is from the Needham Community Council thrift store. Her raincoat and fleece are both L.L. Bean. The dress is vintage Margaret Smith of Maine. Black slide mules and a trendy bar necklace complete the look. Each item Darlene is wearing costs $12 or less. Thank you. Now, Emmett and Miles. Emmett is wearing a Patriots sweatshirt that was his father's and pants received from a family friend. Miles is wearing a Pac 4 Cub Scout sweatshirt from friends we made in Scouts and pants that were originally his brother's. Both appreciate their sweatshirts for what they represent, watching Pats games together, all the years of fun with Pac 4, the people who wore them first, and for how comfortable they are. Thank you. Our next model is Mary. Raised on the Depression-era notion, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without, Mary is a recycler and a thrift shop fan from way back. Today she carries a thrifted Irish fisherman knit sweater she found 50 years ago at her hometown thrift shop. She dons an LL Bean top from the Freeport, Maine Community Thrift Shop and sports a pair of hand-me-down pants from a friend who kindly passes along her gently used cast-offs. Next come Peter and Harissa. Harissa loves thrifting. Today she is wearing pieces thrifted in Boston and New York City. Peter's grandmother has had a practice of offering cheap or thrifted finds for him to wear. These clothes are dear to Peter. The last couple of months, his grandmother has been passing on his grandfather Yuri's things. Today, Peter is wearing an old sweater vest of his made in the Czech Republic. Reverend Katie. Reverend Katie is wearing a dress thrifted from the website Mercari and earrings won at the last First Parish auction. And finally, Claire. Claire bought her stunning Pashtini scarf and her Clark's slip-ons at the Closet Exchange. She wears them draped over a well-worn Sonoma cotton blend top she practically stole at Savers. Her plum Coldwater Creek pants were a find at ThreadUp Online. So thank you to all our models. And for all of you today who have worn something thrifted or passed down or worn for years or upcycled, please stand up. That's just about everyone. Give yourself a hand. That's great. So we're hoping there will be lots of conversations at social hour about extending the life of clothing. And thank you so much for participating in the circular economy.
What a great fashion show. Our closing hymn, For the Earth Forever Turning, was composed by modern saxophonist and composer Paul Winter for his Missa Gaia, or Earth Mass. Please rise in body or in spirit to sing For the Earth Forever Turning. The lyrics are in your orders of service, on screen, and at number 163 in your gray hymnals.
Joyful song of
As we near the end of our service, let me highlight for you some of what's coming up soon at First Parish. All are welcome at our social hour after the postlude, both online and on site. If you're on site and a relative newcomer and you want for long-timers to come chat with you, please take one of the extremely large red mugs at coffee hour. And remember to visit our Green Congregation leadership team during on-site social hour. And I believe to drop off, if anyone brought gently used clothes for generic ministry. I'm looking at Rick. So those are two things you can do there. If you brought a poem in your pocket, you can talk with Lynn Jakowski and Leslie Ross Degnan during on-site social hour for whatever. What are we doing with the poems? Sharing them? Oh, that's nice. We'll be reading them together. Happy Poetry Month. You can also visit our pastoral care team's table and write cards to those in First Parish who have recently experienced sorrow or joy, including our cleaner Freddie, who I think many of you heard last week was hospitalized and went through urgent bypass surgery about 2 Mondays ago. I'm glad and relieved to share that not only, we've been in touch, not only was the surgery successful, as far as we can tell now, that Freddie went home from the hospital on Monday. The staff team is staying in touch with him, and you can write cards here and leave them for Susanna to send on to Freddie at home. After social hour, all are welcome to join me and members of our pastoral care team for a training from Stephanie Knock, the Needham Community Council's new program manager of their dementia care program. And later this afternoon, you can join First Parishioner Jody Rooney and Needham Resist's Visibility Brigade at the Kendrick Street Bridge. And this evening, the Sunday night book group will convene to discuss The Bell in the Lake. Coming up this week, our monthly UU World discussion group is meeting Monday and Wednesday afternoons to talk about the religious legacy of the American Revolution. We have our second opportunity for First Parishioners to learn about and be trained on our Fourth Amendment rights on Tuesday evening over Zoom. And our regular weekly gatherings will also convene Wednesday Writing Escapes and Yoga, Thursday Vespers, and Friday Creative Escapes. Amy Chikala would also love to see you all next Saturday or Sunday at her and Tony's home for Needham Open Studios. Amy's going to display her work in their backyard. Anyone who's been before knows that it's a fun experience to go to Open Studios at the Chikala's home. And next Sunday, we're excited to hold one of our most beloved UU rituals, to welcome a special musical guest and to celebrate the generosity of the First Parish community. I hope you'll plan to participate on site or online for the child dedication ceremony of 3 of our newer RE participants, to hear music from our final guest of the season for 2 to 4, Spencer LaJoy, who will offer their 2 to 4 concert the following Wednesday, but we get them on Sunday the 3rd too, which is great. And to enjoy an end of the pledge drive cake, at social hour courtesy of our wonderful budget drive team. Later in the afternoon on May 3rd, First Parishioners will also be participating in a music trivia fundraiser for our friends at Casa Metro West Worker Center over at the Congregational Church. If you'd like to have a seat at the table, you can get in touch with Leslie Nelkin. You can find details about all of our upcoming events by subscribing to our e-newsletter, The Bell Notes, which you can also find in our online order of service at uuneedham.updates.church. We always extinguish our chalice with words promising to carry its flame in our hearts until we are together again. Please join me from home and from here in the building in saying those words written by UU Minister Reverend Elizabeth Selly Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As we close our worship today, please take with you words from local gay Euro-American UU minister, Reverend Joe Cherry, as a benediction. May the strength of our faith's center of love strengthen us as we seek, as we embody compassion, work for equity, and demand justice for all. May our center hold, strong as an old oak tree, flexible as the willow, life-giving as an orange tree, evergreen as the pine, and as beautiful as the cherry trees in blossom. Our service begins when our service ends. Blessed be, and amen.
the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no, no. Oil wasted on the oceans and upon our seas. Fish full of mercury. Oh, oh, mercy, mercy me. Oh, things ain't what they used to be. No, no, no. Radiation underground and in the sky. Animals, birds who live nearby are dying. Oh, mercy, mercy me. Oh, things ain't what they used to be. What about this overcrowded land? How much more abuse from man